Dinner, and it is Alexander Georgiev who holds it down in a game that he really honestly needed to hold it down in. It's the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365. Hi, everybody. Don't forget that with Bet365, it is never ordinary. And if you download the app and enter code DNVR365, you get a $150 bonus betting credit. And on top of that, you get 2 months of Altitude Plus on them. Make sure that you are physically located in the state of Colorado, 21 or older. And if you or anybody you know think you might have a gambling problem, please make sure you call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Winner. We like it. Not necessarily super pretty.
Look, this is the beauty of playing from ahead. You don't have to play the best periods of hockey in your life when you're winning. And that's what happened for once in the Avs' life this year.
A win is a win. Nick Gismondi, Gizmo. We got Nathan Rudolph, Rudo, and we got Big E, Eric Lacroix on the postgame show. Tiffany running all the dials behind the scenes and being just like the master of all things that are DNVR Avalanche show and pod. Yeah, we love you. Welcome into the chat. Thank you guys so much for joining us and being with us. Early night tonight. Fast hockey game. Man, there was
It did go quick tonight. I enjoyed that. I would take them all going that fast if I could.
It's not bad when they move. Let's just kind of again, I love doing this, and then we'll kind of break it down. But the 30,000 foot view for me, good start. Second period was so for me. Solid finish in the third. Could have been better. Would like to see them eke out a bigger victory than a 2-1 win over the Detroit Red Wings. So
I agree with everything you just said, but 30,000 foot view, a lot of the details started to get blurred, and all you see is a W on the ground 30,000 feet below.
Yep.
They needed the W, they got it.
Yep. E?
Yeah, and I talked about it on my I don't know if it was on my key. Yeah, on the keys. Pardon me, my throat.
You're verklempt.
During the keys. Yeah, I talked about it in the keys. I said, get a lead after a period or after two periods, whatever it is. You know, don't worry about scoring the first goal, because I said I get burned too many times by this. So I'm like, oh, they need the first goal, and then they don't, and they end up winning the game. But that's just me. That's my preference. I used to be a first goal of the game guy. But tonight, I think it was important they win the first period, and they did. And that was the third game of the road trip. Now you got two more, right? We all know tomorrow is a tough one. So you're up 2-1 on the road trip. I think, once you look back at the end of the road trip, this one will have been a pivotal game. You know what I mean? Either of if they keep winning or it was just a big game where you feel good about yourself. And not only were you up after the first period, but you're up on the road trip right now 2-1 when you think about it.
Good point. I think a lot of people like to put a little more stake in the Red Wings games than there really is these days.
It's not a rivalry.
I don't think there's really the extra juice that there used to be in the series.
No.
It's hard to complain too much when the Avs found a way to win a hockey game. I will have some nitpicks later in the show, but for the pessimistic guy on the show, I'm really pretty happy.
Okay. Wow. We'll start.
But you're right about the rivalry. Yeah, no, it does not resemble anything from my days. Oh, yeah.
Well, there was a zero amount of chippiness tonight, by the way.
It
was very friendly.
There's a little more.
Yeah, there was zero chippiness in this hockey game.
It was a friendly game.
Like they had the pillow fight and they shook hands, and I think I saw Cale Makar and Dylan Larkin hug at the end of the game. I'm just kidding. That didn't happen actually, but very easy.
I heard Wayne Gretzky say the other day, it's so funny, and I'm not saying one way is right or the other way is not right, but Wayne was talking about, like, we used to walk down the hall of the visiting room and we wouldn't look near their room because you're not supposed to say hi to the opposition. He goes, nowadays they take pictures and warm up, at the red line, and like, oh, it's my childhood friend, and then they're taking, it's my brother or whatever it is. It's such a different world. It's a different world, and it is what it is. But it certainly was a friendly game tonight. Yes, very friendly.
Yeah,
fine.
When you're playing from ahead, you don't mind that so much.
That's fine. We'll talk about it when we get to the 3 stars, but more on the first period. What was different for you, E, tonight from these guys? And I'll get the same question from Rudo, but a little bit more jump tonight from them in the first 20.
Yeah. I mean, again, Rudo just talked about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think getting the lead and playing from ahead is a big difference.
Yeah, but they've had leads in the first period before and not had a good start to a first period. This was an actual, like, really good. I felt like a really good start to the first period for them.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I know, but winning after the first period, I think it was the first time in like freaking 20 games or 15 games, whatever it is. So
sure, okay.
It's been a while, but I do agree what you said. It was they did well. Again, you're getting a goal from Natushkin, right? Again, then you're getting a goal from Cale, right? Was that no, that wasn't on in the first period, but anyway. They played well. They started on the right foot, and they got some saves. You know what I mean? So you don't get saves. That's, all of a sudden the game's tied or you're chasing the game. And, tonight he gave them saves. You know what I mean? He did his job, and, that's the difference between losing 4-2 and winning 2-1. I mean, you're going to say, well, he's not the best analyst in hockey for nothing. Well, really? I mean, like, I get that. But in reality, that's what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, that's in a nutshell. If you're gonna go and look at the Avs roster, and yeah, he from the goalie on did his job, and then they beat again a pivotal game on the road trip, like I just talked about, but they also, like you said, beat a team that's lost 5 in a row now. You know what I mean? And I'm not downplaying the NHL. Every game is a tough game, but I think the Avs kind of knew it, and in the sense that sometimes you're just saving your energy. You know what I mean? When you're up and it's like, oh, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, and we'll figure it out from there. And they certainly were never behind, so they were all set.
Georgiev is probably the reason they won the first period. But if you're asking what's different, literally, Ross Colton's in your lineup. Don't take this stat too seriously, but it is that second line with him on it that scores the first goal of the game. The Avs with Ross Colton out of the lineup have won exactly 1 first period. With Ross Colton in the lineup, it's not a ton, but it's more than 1. So I don't know what it is about Ross, but he seems to at least help them get that motor going a little bit quicker.
Ross made a difference tonight. And, I mean, we've talked about this. We took flack in the pregame show about Bednar and injuries and whatnot. But systems are solid. Philosophy, solid. Motivation, solid. Respect, solid. Everything that Jared brings to the table is solid. The intangibles are the interchangeable lineup that is very difficult to coach, very difficult to manage in a lot of ways, and get a flow and get a rhythm and get a rhyme. And he comes in, and you get Ross back into the lineup, who is fantastic before he got hurt. I mean, monumental. But at the end of the day, like, Colton made a difference tonight. He had an impact in game 1.
Well, the only thing I want to add to what you were saying and about coaching and everything, I'm going to take it a step further. If you talk to anybody that's ever been part of a Stanley Cup winning team, as players or as management, as a staff, they'll tell you one thing that people tend to forget. You need to be lucky. Luck has a big factor in it. And then you need to be healthy. And you can't control those things. You just can't. You know what I mean? And unfortunately this year, for the coaching staff, they haven't been healthy. And that's been a big factor. And again, we're talking about one addition tonight, the last 2 minutes here, Ross Colton, being a key contributor to the first period, and you guys are right. You take away sometimes your one of your tires and you put a spare tire, you run on it. Yeah, you're still running. You're still going to the grocery store, you know what I mean? But still a spare tire. So when you're playing with spare parts, right? It shows and it affects and it shows in your game. And this league is too dangerous, it's too good to play that many nights on a spare tire.
I think there's still a spare tire or two left in the lineup that we'll get to, but you know what? Sometimes the rest of your car is good enough that you can win the game anyway. So I really do think the Avs deserve a lot of credit. I know we're going to talk about it. First and third periods, that's a quality hockey game that you put together. Second, not great, but you found a way to get away with it. That's the recipe to success in a hockey game. You can't play perfectly the full game. You just have to weather your bad stretches and execute on your good stretches. And the Avs did enough of that tonight.
Let's talk about the second period. Not great. Not where they need to be. Hopefully this isn't like a lingering like disease that like progresses from stages where we start bad in the first and now we got that figured out, but now we got bad seconds and then we figure that out and then all of a sudden we're finishing terribly. Like hopefully that's not the trend the Avs are going on here, but the second period was a little lackluster in my mind.
Yeah, it was just sleepy. Maybe the Avs got a little bit too comfortable. They get that second goal early.
Sure.
We'll talk about that later. Then they end up with, I think they got one or two right at the end of the period to have 4 or 5 shots on goal in the period. I mean, that's low against any team. Against a team like Detroit, who's a horrible possession hockey team, that is bad. There's no two ways around that. You cannot have periods like that against better teams and get away with it. They kind of do here. Yes, they give up the 1 goal, but that's okay. They scored one. They survived it. It has to be better than that. And not in the sense of, sometimes you get outplayed. That's fine. But you have to be able to kickstart that engine again or never turn it off because they got up 2-0. And I think Eric said it a minute ago. Sometimes you try to get away with it, save your legs a little bit, especially in a back-to-back situation. But when Detroit starts to push back against you, you have to be able to get yourself back into it. You can't let it extend to an entire period of struggling to even get the puck going the right direction.
And I got my thoughts on that, and hear me out here and help me out because I don't remember the name of the commercial. But Mike, it's Wednesday, right? It's Hump Day.
Yeah.
What movie is that?
Geico?
Is that Geico? Yeah, Mike. Yeah, it's Hump Day. It was Hump Day on the road trip. I'm telling you, it's the third game of a 5-game road trip, and it's just like, okay, let's go through it, and you play a good first period, and then all of a sudden it hits you, the second period. And then you're playing an opponent that you feel you can beat, you should beat, and they've lost 4 in a row. Now this is 5 in a row. Does that cost Derek Lalonde's job tonight? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there that, he's the next one on the hot seat, and I don't wish that on anybody. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm pushing for. I'm saying, you're in trouble when you lose 4 in a row. This is your 5th one. You're going to have a little bit of a push. And then the Avalanche had a little bit of a push. I mean, not the Avalanche. The Red Wings had a little bit of a push,
I love it. We're on the same page all of a sudden.
Buddy, if he gets fired, the moon's getting stolen tomorrow. That's...
You don't think he's getting fired? I don't know.
No, make it up. Grew. I wish we had that meme.
Oh.
It's a...
No, I don't wish that on anybody. I'm saying you're gonna have a push. It's an NHL team.
I'll
There's
tell
some
you
good
who the
players
next,
there.
I'll tell you who the next coach of the Detroit Red Wings is.
Grew?
That's the current coach. But.
Current coach is Grew.
You guys are mean. I like Derek. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. I'm not saying anything. The next coach of the Detroit Red Wings is Joel Quenneville.
That's definitely possible.
I mean, that's a lot of people are talking about that. Again, I don't know.
DeBrincat, Kane. Yeah, do it. Pull the trigger. What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
You tell me all the time, E. You tell me all the time. Like, losses pile up, it gets punchy.
They do, and that's my point. That's the 5th one tonight, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden you're gonna get a push, and the Red Wings, to their credit, they had a little bit of a push. They had a pushback, and then the Avs were caught flat-footed on Mike, hump day.
Mike.
It's nice to see the Avs pull out a win like this, though, and we'll get into it more later. But they continue to be very, very good when playing from ahead. They just have to do it more often.
You know what you need,
Big
though?
difference.
What do I need?
Well, you need a good, solid foundation.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? You need a good, solid foundation. And if you're a hockey team, you would just love to see what that solid foundation looks like before you actually have to put it into place. And that's exactly what our friends at Empire Today can do for you. Empire Today, you have that shop at home convenience, right? You make sure that you have the right product for your needs with quick and professional installation. And on top of that, you have that price match guarantee. So you know that you're getting the best quality, the best service, and the best price out there by anybody. It is the best place to get new flooring. So, of course, there are copycats that say they have the best materials and yada, 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 but they do not. They do not. Empire Today has it for you. And their virtual floor designer is a great way to see new floors and what they will look like in your space. Any space, truthfully. You can upload it. You can see what it looks like. You can match your decor, furniture, whatever. Empire Today has you covered from top to bottom, and they are fast. They are affordable, and they are the best out there for providing you with new carpets and flooring, whatever it is that you need. You can schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions do apply, though there aren't many. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for all the details. I'm currently going through it right now myself. I'm looking for new flooring. I can't wait. I got a new couch that our boy Eric helped me move up a ridiculously difficult flight of 2 stairs.
Yikes.
It was not easy. It was a recliner one. It's like double recliner, two lazy boys. Like, had to manipulate the crap out of that. It's a 2-beer job, buddy. Right, E?
It was.
It was a 2-beer job. And you know what beers we went with? You know what ones we went with?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, this guy knows.
Yeah.
This guy knows what beers we went with.
Breckenridge Brewery.
There it is.
Yeah, Bragg Brew.
Amber ales, buddy.
Bragg Brew.
Pivot.
Highly recommend you go get with them. But when you do it during an Avs game at the DNVR bar, you also get $2 off.
Well, see, there you go. Could use that.
Even a better deal right there. And look, they literally just helped give away a snowboard today at the bar. So you missed out.
They did give a snowboard away.
So pretty cool guys over at Breckenridge Brewery. Get them here at the bar. Get them anywhere in the United States. Use their Breck Beer Locator online at breckbrew.com to find it near you.
Oh, thanks, bud.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good job.
Did okay. Just like the Avs. They did okay.
Tough second period. So if you're Jared Bednar and the team, and all right, you finally have a good first, and then we'll move on from this. You finally have a good first, and then you kind of wet the bed in the second. What? Eric, you first. Management, player. What do you say to the boys after 40? You're like, guys, the f is that?
Yeah, but God, I'm the one that's a little bit more calm when it comes down to 60 minutes of a game, right? Because I always say, as a player, as management, like you want to win the 60 minutes, and then you want to hear like, hey, we played great for 60 minutes. We pulled a 60-minute effort. But in reality, it's tough to do. There's gonna be parts of a time frame in a game where the game slips away from you. It just does. And that's why I always say there's 2 opponents out there. It's like a trade, right? I always say you need a dancing partner. Well,
2 to tango, buddy. 2 to tango.
Yeah, and you're not playing by yourself there. There's opponents. There's situations. This is a team in dire straits. You've lost 4 in a row. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the Wings. So you know that they're coming back in the second, and they're making their push. And the one thing I'll say about the Avalanche, though, and again, it didn't bite them yesterday. And I was just reading our buddy Brendan there, some of the quote, a stat that he threw out there. The Avs are top of the league right now in 1-goal games. They're 9-1. They lead the league in 1-goal games. So I think they're comfortable being up by 1. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes it's like, I think it's just a human nature part. Like I said, this is just a player talking, and I don't care what you say. You know you got a heck of a hockey game tomorrow night in Jersey. Jersey's humming. Jersey's good. It's got some star power. It's got a good goalie, right? You know what I mean? And you know they're waiting for you, right? And I think it's just a little bit human nature to look ahead a little bit and say, I think we'll get away with this one. And you know, and again, I'm going to be really rude here because this is, you know, I'm talking about an NHL player and everything, but. And for me, when I'm on the bench and I'm looking and I'm playing and I'm like, Ville Husso doesn't scare me. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, okay, if we have to go and turn on the engines and score one or two of them, then we will. You know what I mean? And that I'm just being honest without being rude, you know, towards, you know, an NHL goaltender, Ville Husso.
I think you're probably correct on that, but I think there are two other factors here. One, they're your four worst possession players in this game. Your top line and Keaton Middleton. Start with your top line. They were cruising around.
They were bad.
They were doing whatever. They did not care in the second period. And they're so good that they still score a power play goal because they're just better than most NHL players and they can be good even when they're bad. But at 5-on-5, boy, miss me with that second period especially. I don't need that from them. You want to play like that when it's 3-0, 4-0? Okay, maybe you can convince me of that. But get there first. Do not sit back on a 2-goal lead and snooze around like that when you are the key players to this team. The other side is that Middleton thing. Nothing against the guy. The Avs are just, Eric, you said it when it happened. They're going to miss Josh Manson. They missed Josh Manson in that second period. Middleton just did not manage the puck very well and ended up on the very bad side of possession metrics, allowed multiple shifts for Detroit to get extended in that offensive zone for them. Ultimately led to the Avs wearing down a little bit. They give up the one goal. I don't really want to have this conversation. The goal is kind of soft. I don't care that it's soft because he gave up one goal. He could fire a goal into his own net every single night. If that's the only goal he gives up, awesome. I'm good with it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we'll.
And by the way, sorry, let me just. Sorry, I guess I just want to add what you're talking about there. The top line. It's exactly who I was talking about. You know what I mean? When I said, "Oh, okay," you know, no offense to Ville Husso, I know I can get after him. You know, and I'm not saying that's the right attitude. I'm just saying we were talking the same language.
I was
talking about the top line.
Let's break this down a little further, and then I think we can kind of evaluate from there.
Yep.
But let's take a look at our 3 stars, and we'll go, Tiff, we'll go 1 for 1, and then we'll keep bringing this graphic up. So let's start with our 3rd star. It's Georgiev.
Yep.
Whatever, a 967 save percentage. He was what they needed tonight. Did it?
Yep.
Okay. Rock star tonight. Easy team in my opinion. But a 967's a 967.
Yeah, look, he allowed the Avs to win the first period, and that's the biggest part of this game. Played fine in the second period and didn't really have a big workload in the third period. No one's going to go out here and tell you Georgiev played out of his mind and stole this game, but he played well enough that the Avs can win with 2 goals on the board. Has not happened nearly enough this year that the Avs are able to find ways to win these low-scoring games. It happened. He deserves credit for that. As I've said time and time again this year, does this change the math on who Georgiev is long-term? No, but he can still play a good game for you.
My problem with Georgiev is here. I keep getting asked this, and I got asked this. Eric, I said it in the pregame show that, you know, and if you all were here for that, wonderful. But like, I went to shoot around at Family Sports the other morning and was in the locker room, and a couple DNVR fans were coming out on the ice. So we were getting dressed in the room together. My problem with Georgiev is the inconsistency. Like if he was consistently okay, then we're fine. But he's inconsistent. So it's like you showed up tonight, but like, for example, if you play him tomorrow, it could be 4 goals on 8 shots. Like it's a roll the dice with the guy. So like, I'm glad he showed up tonight. I am. And thank you. Like, good work. But I have no idea what I'm going to get when I have him in net. And that, if I'm coaching, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what to do. Like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, I don't know. The situation is what it is. I know your feelings on him. I know my feelings on him. I know most people's feelings on him. But like he goes out and he does something like tonight, and you're like, oh my gosh, he's okay. And then if you start him tomorrow or against Pittsburgh, you're like, well, I don't know what to do.
You know you're rolling that dice every time you run him out there.
You are. And that's not a good way to be. You don't want that to be your goaltending situation.
Oh, listen, I'm out on this tonight. Like, I've made my. I mean, again, it's not like I've been shying away from this all year long. I'm pretty vocal about it. For me, you make 20-some saves. It's not. I'm laughing because I read Twitter and like everywhere and altitude and oh God, and then you're talking about like the savior came to town and he made 59 saves. Like it's like, guys, can we just move on? The guy did a good job. Move on. That's it. Like we got to stop with this thing all the time. Oh, it's so bad. Oh, he's so great. You know, it's like. Let him be. He did his job tonight. Great. Let's make sure he does his job next. I just don't think he can, but that's okay. But tonight he did great.
I want to derail us a little bit here, and we can maybe get back to third stars after the break. But if you can scroll up and chat a little bit, Tiff, there's a comment about Josh Manson.
Yeah, I saw that.
You do realize Josh Manson has been awful this season, right? I'm not going to argue with you. I do not think Josh Manson has been very good this year. I think he is very prone to the big mistake. He's given up some very, very high danger chances against. But we're calling Josh Manson awful this year. And his across the course of the season, his Corsi for percentage is 51%. It's on the positive side of puck possession. Keaton Middleton had a 31% Corsi for tonight. He got absolutely caved in. And that my point isn't that Josh Manson is the answer to all of this team's problems. And this is not a knock on Casey Middleton either. He's just an AHL guy. He's not an NHL player because he's the Avs' 9th defenseman. That's the reality of his role. And he's not as good as Josh Manson. The reality of the Avs lineup situation is they're forced into playing guys that are so deep on their depth chart that they really shouldn't be in the NHL. And yes, even with all of Josh Manson's problems this year, he's going to give you better than that.
And he plays heavy minutes against a workload of top-end players. And a lot of guys in the NHL can't do that. That's why they are third-pairing guys. That's why they are call-ups. So when you're taking that out, I don't care if he hasn't been the greatest, hasn't been his best year, you're missing the element that he does, which is a top 4 player on a team and on probably any team in the NHL.
Claudia Manton with a good point.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Nothing against
you can have
either
that,
guy.
Chip.
But
yeah, Manson's worse, still better than Middleton, and that's okay. Middleton is.
That's why one dude has 600 NHL games and one dude has 10. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
We're not giving good for mids. Like, good for him. Like, he's okay. Like, it's okay. Doing the best he can in the situation that he's in. He won't get much credit tonight, but I thought Cal was good.
Yeah, he was fine. For especially this team that got caved in the second period, other than their first line in Middleton, everyone else ended up on the positive side of possession. They came back in that third period, gave Detroit nothing, and I'm sure we'll get into it in a minute. But yeah, it's a team that answered the bell when they needed to win this hockey game, even if they did fall asleep in that second for a little while.
Yeah, Ryan, Georgiev will not be in net tomorrow.
I'm never going to say never, but look, when your front office goes out and trades for a guy, the directive is going to be play him.
No. Yeah, Wedgwood will get the start tomorrow. That's why they split it the way they did. Just how it is. We have a break coming up in just a few moments, and then we'll get to our second star. But to kind of finalize that first thought, Georgiev as the first star tonight hopefully is a good feather in his cap, because as of right now, you need him to be.
They don't have a better option, really. I mean,
so until you make a trade or until you do something, Georgiev and Wedgwood have to play good. You'll figure something out at some point here soon, I hope. But for the meantime, this is what you're stuck with, and you can bet on that, even though it's not ordinary. And of course, our partner and our presenting sponsor is Bet365, who is never ordinary. And with Bet365, you can count on a lot of fun because they are the official sponsor of the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets. Bet365 is boosting things constantly all the time. They power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more with over 10,000 boosts every month, including some DNVR boosts, which is a ton of fun. In hockey specifically, the NHL early payout is super cool, a ton of fun, because you're a winner if your team goes up by 3 goals or more. That happens on an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. All you got to do is download the Bet365 app, enter code DNVR365. You're going to get $150 in bonus bets. Plus, this is cool, 2 months of Altitude Plus on them. These guys are amazing. All you have to do is sign up. It's super easy. And remember, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus or older. You have to be physically located in the state of Colorado. And remember that if you or anybody that you know may or thinks they have a gambling problem, just call or text 1-800-GAMBLER and get the help that you need. Bet responsibly.
Yep. And if you're betting on a game, you might want to go to the game.
Go to the game.
As of late, I would say maybe skip the first period and show up in the second. I'm not kidding. Game Time will give you incredible deals if you get tickets after the game starts. It's seriously like $2 tickets if you wait. But don't do that. Go to the whole game. Game Time will get you great tickets that way, too, with Game Time Picks. Their new offer will show you only the best tickets for the best prices. It'll filter out all the junk so you can sit where you want to sit for the price you want. And you'll even get $20 off that when you sign up with code DNVR over at Game Time. Of course, terms and conditions apply. Go see the link in the description to join over 15 million people that use Game Time to get their tickets.
Good job, buddy.
This is a personal opinion from me. The hockey stat card stats are not very good. Generally speaking, any statistic that tries to give you a full game score can be useful, but take it with a grain of salt. Putting one number into an entire game score is often iffy at best, and all of those statistics have weights. The person who made the algorithm to decide who had good positive numbers, who had negative positive numbers, weighted the statistics to his own opinions of how valuable they are. If you agree with them, great. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the game stats that are one number or the hockey stat card things that, in my opinion, aren't very accurate. I could be wrong. You could believe in them. Personally, I don't.
There's no way Georgiev is starting tomorrow.
I mean, there's definitely a way, but I don't think he will.
Well, I'm not going there. So.
Are you serious?
Oh, buddy, I've seen it too many times.
Let's throw something out there. If Georgiev starts tomorrow, what do I do on the show? Throw it out there. Chat, give it to me. Look, let's let it simmer. If Georgiev starts tomorrow, throw something random out there. Go ahead. I don't care.
I got nothing good.
What's the NS not safe? NSFW.
There it is. Yeah.
Something that's safe for work.
I mean, I don't think he's gonna start.
Okay, but if he does, I don't think he will. So go ahead and throw something out there, and I'll do it. Sure.
That is the usual thing we do.
Did they hear that, Tiff?
I just repeated myself. Yeah. Shotgun a bear.
Yeah, sure. Just something wild. There's no way. It'd be ridiculous.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
No, I don't know. My earpods keep coming off, so I'm going to take them off. I don't know why they just keep on. But I can hear you. I just want to make sure you're hearing me.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
That ad read's not on here today.
No, all of a sudden, no.
I got you, buddy. We got you.
Jesus.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I don't know why they keep it's just my earbuds. I don't know if they're dying or whatever. I wouldn't go back to them. Me? No, I absolutely not. So don't get me going. But have I seen him go back to him? Yes. But I think everything was predetermined. You know what I mean? I think everything was predetermined. So
we'll see.
Casey,
I'm hoping they stick to it, but
Casey, there's no die going on here. Yeah, there's no just for men going on here.
I heard his vote.
Hey, thanks, Caleb.
What? Who's saying like somebody giving it to you? Somebody asked about my hair earlier. No, my hair is
Way to
not
show
been
up
fixed,
in the chat for the first time ever, Caleb. Come on down
Phineas
to the
and Ferb
DNVR bar. We can
on.
talk about it together. I'd love that.
Yeah, I don't know that whichever goalie starting even matters tomorrow, if we're
Might do that
honest.
too.
But true.
Yeah, well, you know what? How about the second star of the game?
Yeah. Well, there's a hockey game.
Yeah, let's do that.
Look, honestly, I think Val Nichushkin was probably the Avs' best player tonight. He was super, super good, not just on scoring the goal, but also on the entire game. He was consistently pushing play. He really helped elevate that second line with Colton and Middlestat. He was really the guy driving most of the play tonight for that line. And he had multiple other great plays, whether it was getting pucks deep, whether it was being defensively responsible. It looked like the Val Nichushkin that was a top-level player for the Avs in previous years. So it's hard to argue with the on-ice results from Val.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was good tonight again. I really like. You know what? Nichushkin has been consistent.
Yep, he's always had that in his bag. Hopefully, he can just stay consistent off the ice too. That's the only nitpick you have with him.
He's a unicorn. He's a unicorn winger in this league. There's not many like him. There's not many like him. There's not. To be that big and to skate like that and to be have a good shot as you saw today on that goal there. He's got a good shot, good release. Like I said before, it's weird. It's so hard to describe him. I mean, when you go back to him like maybe 6-7 years ago, and you're like, you're writing reports on him, you don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Because he's so different, and it's weird, and it's because he's not physical. He's not physical. He's a big body that takes a lot of room, but he's not going to hurt you. He's not going to hit you. He's going to be in the way. He's going to have a good stick. He's going to hound pucks, right? Bernard talks about him all the time about the way he hunts pucks. He does, But he's different. He's a unit. I mean, there's not many guys like him. I mean, it'd be a good exercise one day to say, okay, who do you compare him to around the league? There's not many.
Yeah,
not many.
When he's playing at his best, I would agree. He's important mechanically. A player like that is important to the Avs systems. You need those responsible defensive forwards that can also pitch in offensively. Lekkonen's in a similar vein. Nichushkin kind of just does everything better than Lekkonen does, though. So
yeah, but there's a reason they kept him right after the cup run, and there's a reason they got away. He was the guy you had to keep, and that was the right decision. That was the right decision to keep him.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but it certainly has nothing to do with his hockey play. I'll put it to you that way.
What do you mean? That on 2022, you mean?
No, I mean Nichushkin in general. In 2022, you had to sign him. Obviously.
That's what I'm saying. No, I'm talking about 2022. You had to keep him. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They moved on from Kadri, Burakovsky. It was him and Josh, actually.
Yeah.
It was the right call. I thought they made the right decision.
Unless you could see the future. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
We're on the same page.
Number one star?
Oh my gosh, who was it?
It's the guy who helped you win the game. And look, even when they play poorly, the guys who help you win the game are your best players. So, yeah, I don't think your top line was very good, but your best player who's not on your top line is Cale Makar, a defenseman. He scores what ultimately ends up being the game-winning goal on the power play. He helps you win the special teams battle. He's the guy that, guess what? He's the guy. He's the guy that's the guy. He's him. He's whatever you want to call him. Cale Makar, night in and night out. Even when he's not playing his best, and while I do think it was better than the top line, it was not his best tonight. He still finds a way to have that impact and prove that The Avs will beat you if you give them the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Cale Makar, as we've talked about, best player on the planet. He brings so many different intangibles to the lineup, and I love it. Right? Like, I love the way that he plays. I love the leadership factor that he brings. I love the other intangibles. He's doing things that you don't even see.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of what impresses me with Cale is not the unbelievable skill, which we are so lucky to get to watch every single night.
Oh, yeah.
But he just obviously has that. He's also an incredibly intelligent hockey player. You look at some of the Avs top forwards that at times struggle defensively, and you'll regularly, if you look away from them and look at Cale Makar is like, hey, go over there. Yep. I'm also playing your position while playing my position.
He's very dynamic. Yeah.
He's I mean, I was just with about 45 minutes ago. That's why I was running late to jump on the pod there. I was just with his college coach, Greg Carvel. Oh, yeah. And he couldn't stop raving about him. He's like, is he just Mr. Everything? I'm like, oh, buddy, he is my everything. I'll tell you that as a hockey player. I mean, he just, for me,
Eric has 3 kids, by the way.
What? I know, I'm talking about as a hockey player. I'm not talking about in life. I'm talking about he's my everything as a hockey player. I used to have a man crush on Sidney Crosby, and I still do. And my guy now is Cale Makar. I call him the best player on the planet.
He is. He's so good,
he is.
Buddy. He's so good.
We were talking. I was talking to Carvey tonight, and I'm like, I said, you know, he goes, listen, he goes, he was so good here. But he goes, it's the person that he is. He's so humble. He's so nice. Such a good leader. Such a good teammate. And I said, well, I think he carried that to the NHL, and because it's just so fantastic to watch. I mean, it just is like he just never ceases to amaze me. You know what I mean? And the way he plays the game is just the way the game should be played, and in a way that you never thought someone could play that way, right? Every day it just seems like he's reinventing it a little bit, I played with a guy named Avalanche 1.0, Sandis Ozolinch, right? Ozo was for me so different back then, and he was wild and so offensive. But Cale is so good. People tend to forget he's so good defensively. He can be physical. He can block shots. He plays power play, plays PK. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like there's nothing he can't do. And it's just, wow. I mean, again, what a big piece the Avalanche have there.
Let's talk about some of the individuals who we thought were good and bad tonight. There were some high points. I think that obviously Nichushkin, as we said, in the 3 stars, he's been very consistent, very good. I think Cale's been great. I think McKinnon is always a presence. Georgiev tonight found a way, which is great for him. He won't play tomorrow, in my opinion. You laugh. Gosh, it makes me worried that you're laughing at that. God.
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
I'll pray in front of my hockey puck whiskey glass full of Jack Daniels that you're wrong. And I hate, I love you more than anybody in the world, brother. But I hope you're wrong. God,
I didn't say he's playing.
I hope you're wrong.
I didn't say he's playing. I said
I hope you're wrong,
yikes,
buddy.
I've seen it too many times.
God, I love you, but I hope you're wrong.
To say it's not a possibility,
should we bet on this right now? I know we threw it out there that I would do something crazy, but should we bet on this as a family? Like, what do you want to do? What you want, like $5, $10? Like, what do you want to do?
Oh. No, I'm not betting against it. I'm not.
I know that laugh.
I'm just saying it's like a security blanket, right? I don't know why it wouldn't be my blanket.
He's starting guard yet, isn't he?
He might. He's done it before. When he feels like he needs to win, he starts his starter.
He's starting Georgiev.
Yep.
I think.
Let's go Pierre Lacroix.
I think there's a less chance than normal.
Yes or no? Georgiev, yes or no?
If I had to say, I'd say no.
No.
I'm going to say no.
Tiff.
But I'm not convinced.
All right. Everybody's no. Thank goodness. Yeah, but I know you. You think yes. You're saying no, but you think yes. Darn it.
I wouldn't,
Roger.
but I don't know.
All right. I'll put it.
Has he
I'll
said
put it
it?
to you this way.
Shit.
If we're talking about individual efforts, starter might not matter if you get another quality game out of Devon Taves and Sam Girard. I thought those two as individuals
There
were
we go.
awesome
Individual efforts.
for
Let's
the
talk about
Avs
that for
defensively.
2 seconds.
I'll get into them a little bit more, but the Avs defense is starting to look more like what it's supposed to in the top 4. I'll put it to you that way.
All right. Well, speaking of hoping for and where you need help, BetterHelp will be there for you when you need better help. Putting your mental health, putting all of your health personally is so important. It's tough out there right now. I mean, if you want to sit back and think about things that scare you, it's okay. Talk about it. Bring it up. Face it. Bring it up to friends. But when you really need to kind of try to get yourself right, there is an answer out there. I have never personally sought out professional mental health, but you know what? There are times that I probably should have. It's a tough world out there. And luckily I'm blessed with great friends and family, like my parents and my brother and my nephew and his family and folks like Rudo and Eric and Tiff, who are always there for me. But if you need help, there are tons of options out there for you. Maybe nothing better than BetterHelp. If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch them anytime you want to. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DNVR today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DNVR.
How long is a power play?
It's 2 minutes depending.
Yeah. Fair enough. Full power play is 2 minutes. Sometimes the Avs have good power plays like tonight. Sometimes they have bad ones. You can get an entire meal cooked in the time of a bad Avs power play.
I like that.
2 minutes is all it takes to cook your Factor meals up, and they'll even ship them right to you. You don't have to put anything together. They're ready to go. You can go get them. You can stick them in the microwave, and you can get a quick meal in 2 minutes. They're also healthy. They got all sorts of different options. I think it's like 33 different menus to choose from, and they have diets for everybody, whatever type of diet you might be on. Keto,
gluten-free.
There you go. Gluten-free, vegetarian.
Whiskey.
I don't know if they have
Whiskey
well, they do
diet.
have 6 shakes, actually.
Whiskey.
I don't think they deliver
No whiskey shots, but they have like immunity shots and like, yeah, they have
all
like,
sorts of
With
great
whiskey?
stuff from Factor.
no whiskey shots.
You,
That's not healthy.
You can add whiskey yourself, all right? They won't stop you from adding your own whiskey. Can confirm. Whatever meals you're looking for, make sure you do it with Factor and make your life easier. Find guilt-free comfort foods like homestyle chicken or gravy and loaded mashed potato pork chops. Whatever you've got, they've got you covered with Factor. You can head over to factormeals.com/avs50 DNVR app. Nope, just avs. All the other ones are DNVR. Ours is just avs50. I'm getting baited. avs50 to get 50% off at factormeals.com. Go over today, and you can even get another 20% off your next month when you use that ABS50 code at factormeals.com. Factor is great, though. We really like them.
You do it. You're actually like a...
I always, when we drafted Ryan O'Reilly, I really knew he was going to become a businessman one day, and look, I was right. Look at him. He's got his own meal company, so it's good.
Does any NHL player actually have like a meal company sponsorship?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I know.
No, they use them.
Sarcasm.
I was asking, does someone actually do that? I know that all of them have like a sports drink or whatever, but an actual like meal kit?
I don't know. I was just kidding about Factor, but it's a cool name.
I tell you what, the Avs defense is eating good, or at least their top 3. Makar, Taves, and Girard are eating good. They are a very good unit of 3. Malinsky, I think, is starting to adjust a little bit more now that he's been in the top 4 a couple of games. The reason the Avs miss Josh Manson is because their top 6 isn't full. But Manson might be more like a 5 than a 4 at this point. And the Avs' big three are doing the heavy lifting, which I really want to hone in on Girard. I think the expectation for Makar and Taves is greatness. But Girard has taken himself from a guy going into this season where you're heavily considering him being the cash moving out if you're trying to make a big deal. And now I don't know that the Avs can afford to get rid of him because he's too important to the depth of that defense. He's too productive. He's too solid defensively. And especially we've seen when you move him around and move him away from some of the anchors on the team, he's really, really effective. So Sam Girard is a difference maker on this Avs team, especially in a 2-1 game like this.
You know what? I was at Family Sports 2 days ago skating in the Take a Shot, which is like basically open skate, which is awesome.
Yep.
But it's with full gear. I'm teaching my nephew how to play hockey right now. He's crushing it, loving it. It was a ton of fun. We were out there. And then, you know, the injured guys skated after we got off the ice. So we hung around for a few minutes. Josh skated.
Yep.
And he looked great. Like, he's literally just right now currently working on, he's clearly getting back to conditioning.
Yep.
He's doing power skating things. So I think Manson is close to coming back. I don't think the wrist was as bad as we thought. He looked great. Power looks good. Endurance looks good. So it was cool to see him. Gave each other a quick nod, but didn't bug him, didn't stick around. More so because my nephew wanted to watch him skate for a little bit, but he's got great power. He looks fine. I think Manson will be back sooner than later.
Yeah, and look, Josh Manson is not Cale Makar.
No.
He doesn't. If he's put on a brace, lock that wrist up.
Yeah, it's fine. You're okay.
Play some defense.
Yeah, you're okay. Just do your job. You're good.
No one's going to ask you to handle
with a cast.
Yeah, but you don't need the cast. You just need the.
No, I was kidding.
Obviously, I don't know how bad it is. They haven't announced specifically. So, for all I know,
I heard they
chopped the whole arm off at the elbow. Tough. Yeah, it's a tough injury.
He can come back from that though. Yeah. I mean, an amputation is not unheard of in the NHL.
Is he an axolotl?
If you don't like conditioning, yeah, don't hurt your wrists. You know.
We're quickly running out of time, but let's talk about the third. Let's talk about that 200-foot game that we keyed on in the pregame show. Thoughts on just how they played length of the ice, north and south?
Yeah, the third period was boring, which is good.
That's
when you
fine.
have a lead,
boring
especially
is fine.
a one-goal lead.
Boring's fine.
Corsi 4, 25-7 in the Avs' favor in the third period. That is dominance. Actual shots on goal at 5-on-5, 11-1. Detroit was the trailing team here. The Avs smothered them in that third period, gave them absolutely nothing to go with, and they made their life easier by playing quality, suffocating defense. Mm-hmm. They did not have to expend all of that energy gassing up and down the ice in the third period, the way we're talking about trying to save energy for the next game in a back-to-back. Sometimes it's not being lazy and taking shift off. Sometimes it's just about being smart defensively so you aren't chasing the game with your feet.
4 points tonight. Let's take a look at these scheduled, Tiff. Yeah. You're okay. We love you. 2 green lights, 1 red.
That's good.
Yeah, tough game tomorrow. Yeah. Jersey is good. I'm a big Jack Hughes fan. Known him since he was a kiddo. He's going to be good. He plays great. Good hockey player.
Good hockey player for sure. I got a few of those.
Yeah, Nico's good. His little brother is good. That's a really cool hockey team. And I love that hockey team. I do. I love them for the family factor, but tough game tomorrow. But then you got Pittsburgh too. That's if you bobble tomorrow and you win in Pittsburgh, I really, really like the road trip.
Yeah, if you go 3-2 with this trip, you should be happy with yourselves. Be nice to have a chance to go 4-1 just because the Avs need to start stacking up wins. But look, tomorrow's a schedule loss. The Avs have been surprisingly good with this core at avoiding schedule losses and finding a way to pull those games out. But be realistic about your expectations tomorrow is what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you want a good game. You want to see your guys do their job, but you have to be realistic about what that is. I mean, they land in New Jersey maybe now-ish.
Probably not quite yet, but
not quite yet.
Soon,
and then
yeah.
You know, think about it. It's an unload. You go to the hotel.
Yeah.
You get settled. You wind down. You crash. They won't skate tomorrow. But yeah, that's a tough turnaround. The back-to-backs are difficult, especially when it's a travel day.
Oh, yeah.
Sega Baba.
This is not the bus from New York to New Jersey. They're flying in from Detroit. So
Yep. And
it's different. And always remember, again, we were just looking at the schedule. So, you know, again, for me, this is the player talking. You know, that game Tuesday is the toughest one because this is the tail end of a 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
7, 8, day off 9, 10. After being on the road for 7 days, 8 days, you left on the 2nd. It's a long it's a long trip, and you just did the same thing last week. So it's tough. It's mentally grueling. It's physically grueling. So those are 2 tough games coming up.
It is. I will say 2-day break after the 10th. So no reason not to leave it all out there because you get the extra day of rest.
For sure.
I did want to really quickly touch on one other storyline that's kind of been developing for the Avs. Casey Middlestat does get a point tonight. I thought he looked a lot better tonight. Not that he was great. I thought he was just okay. But compared to the last couple of games, you got to take a step in the right direction. Hopefully a point kind of gets the monkey off his back and he remembers the type of player that he is and can start putting up points for the Avs regularly again.
I was going there next. I mean, he needs a little shot in the arm. He does. He needs a little, arm around him. I feel like, they interviewed him on TV tonight. I feel like somebody needs to give Case a big hug.
Needs some love right now.
Like, I'll give him a big hug when they get back. Yep. But he needs
again when and guys like that need points. That's what they run on. They run on points. You're paid to produce. That's why he's making $6 million a year. That's why he's a second line center in the NHL. You're paid. You got to go out there and produce. Kiviranta, he went 17 games probably without a point, right? And nobody talks about it. I get it. That's not your job. When you're a top 6 guy, you got to produce, and it gets on you. When you see a big bagel in 10 games, it's tough, and there's no silver lining. Oh, but I played well, you know what I mean? But again, he wasn't playing well. But so again, tonight, just that little assist, sometimes it's a little bit boost. It's a booster shot, you know what I mean? Then you feel, a little bit better. And then, you try to carry that into tomorrow and really just kind of start to get on the roll here.
Were they lucky tonight?
They weren't unlucky. I don't think they were unlucky. They could have probably won this game a little bit easier if they did get lucky. Nichushkin rips the puck off of the knob of Husso's stick.
Yeah,
3-1 game's probably over. I think Georgiev at times pucks were hitting him, which, hey, that's what a goalie's supposed to do. Didn't see some of them and it hits you. Guess what? Every goalie in the league gets some of those. So yeah, I think some things went their way, but I don't think they were overly getting bounces or anything tonight.
Okay. E?
No, I agree. I agree with Rudo. I mean, a lot of time, I'm a firm believer you create your own luck too. You know what I mean? When you do the right things,
100%.
and so again, I didn't think there was a lot of, when you use that term puck luck tonight on either team. I don't think it was one of those games, like the other day when it, Wedgwood, remember, it hits the stick and whatever it is and goes, the broken stick, whatever, what I mean? That's just bad luck, what I mean? It's pure bad luck. I didn't see a lot of that tonight, I think it was a pretty straightforward, like I said, it was a very friendly game. Very friendly.
I saw a couple people talking about the Casey Middlestat minus 18 stat. Again, not a big fan of plus minus, but when it is egregious like that, that means you should investigate further. Casey Middlestat's on-ice save percentage at 5-on-5 is 85.8%. And some of that is, he probably plays not great defense and gives up some high dangerous chances, but some of that is your goaltender just not making saves when he's on the ice. Some of that is why plus minus is a bad stat, because there are a number of goals that Casey Middlestat has been on the ice for that there is absolutely nothing he can do about it.
I like
usually on the ice too, right, with the goalie pulled, right? He's usually one of the guys there, and
well, that's
those
not
are crappy too.
But I guess they do count as minuses, yeah.
Oh yeah, they do, yeah.
I liked his play tonight. I thought he got a bit of a boost.
Yeah, he was much better. One of their top 3 possession players too. Like you knew this wasn't going to be forever with Casey. Hopefully, this is him coming out of it.
Yeah. Colton back. It's a win. It's all positive here at the DNVR Avs show. And we're going to do it again in less than 24 hours because the boys are about to go wheels down in New Jersey at Newark. They'll head to the Pru to take on the Devils, a very good hockey team, tomorrow at 5 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll have the pregame for you at 4:30. Make sure you jump in, join on. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing. Have those notifications turned on. Drop us a like, and if you aren't a diehard yet, please make sure you are so. No watch along tomorrow, but we will be hanging out at the DNVR bar on Colfax and York. If you are here, hit us with a message. We'd happily have you on the show, bring you up, say hello. Big thank you to Eric for calling in. Big thank you to Tiff for doing all the hard work she does. To my partner, Rudo, unbelievable, great stuff. And to all of you for interacting and being a part of it. Please be positive, though. We don't need the negative. It's a tough enough world out there as it is. And as I said, make sure you do something nice for somebody else. Go ahead and make somebody's life better. Do it for a stranger. Do it for anybody, truthfully. And the world needs it right now. And if you haven't, and if you can, I got to say that now, call your mom.
Learn your lesson.
Yeah,
there.
I learned my lesson on that. Yeah, thanks, Randy. If you can, call your mom. And if you can't, just think about her or call a loved one anyway. And just say the words, I love you. It matters. I'm going to say goodnight tonight. E, thanks so much, buddy. I love you. Yeah. Thumbs up. Okay. Hat tip. Beautiful. Good night, everybody. We'll see you.
It's a golf thing.
We all silly like the mayor.